You know, I never really planned on doing like a best draft picks episode. There's not that many examples out there, and even the good ones aren't great. So, but you know what? I can give it a try. Number 8, Matt Hardy to ECW 2008. Walking meme factory, Matt Hardy was in an odd place in the late 2000s. After coming back to the company to blur the line between real and kayfabe with Edge and Lita, he went to SmackDown and feuded with MVP over the US Championship. Still, some felt that he deserved a little more. Things picked up during the 2008 draft when he was moved to ECW after he and Brother Nero lost a match to determine that pick. Matt was given a chance to shine on the proto-NXT as a bigger fish in a smaller pond. In a real feel-good moment for his fans, Matt won the ECW Championship in a championship scramble in the fall of 2008, the only world title he would win before doing it again in TNA in 2015. Overall, ECW was a good chapter in Matt's career, certainly not one you'd want to I'm not going to do it. Number 7, Christian to SmackDown, 2010. After a run as ECW champion following his return to WWE, Christian had a cup of coffee on Raw before being sent to SmackDown in the 2010 draft. Edge's retirement after WrestleMania 27 allowed Christian to slide into the World Heavyweight Championship picture, defeating Alberto Del Rio for the belt at Extreme Rules in 2011. Say what you will about his time as world champion and his rivalry with Randy Orton over the belt, but Captain Charisma probably would have never gotten a whiff of the main event scene on Raw. Him being on SmackDown was the perfect fit. Number 6, Shelton Benjamin to Raw, 2004. As one half of Team Angle / the world's greatest tag team, fans already knew Shelton Benjamin was a terrific performer, but they didn't know just how good he was until he went solo. Benjamin became the breakout star of his tag team almost immediately after being drafted in 2004, scoring a surprise pinfall win on Triple H in his first week on The Red Show. He also had a great match with Shawn Michaels that ended with one of the coolest super kicks of all time, and had an all-around good run in the mid-card. His being drafted onto Raw was the best thing that could have happened to his career. Benjamin's success in the company ultimately plateaued, in part due to the fact that his promo skills were a little lacking, but give some credit to the company, they tried to improve the situation by adding some wrinkles to his character. Well, they can't all be winners. Number 5, John Cena and Batista trade places, 2005. The 2005 draft was the only one of its kind that was stretched out over several weeks instead of just one night. They wisely never brought back that bullshit, but the 2005 draft did give us one of the biggest changes to the main event scene in some time. Much like in 2011, WWE Champion John Cena was the first one drafted, moving from SmackDown to Raw. However, unlike in 2011, he actually stayed there for a while. The last pick in the draft, made several weeks later, had World Champion Batista move from Raw to SmackDown. It's a shame that Raw didn't take advantage of having both World Champions on the same show for almost a whole month, but what are you gonna do? The company took their two biggest draws who had really done all there was to do in their respective brands, switched them around to give them fresh new rivalries. Rivalries that would become super predictable, yes, but at the time it was cool. Number 4, CM Punk to Raw, 2008. CM Punk had to overcome a lot of obstacles in his time in WWE, but his time on Raw after being drafted in 2008 seemed like a positive move forward. Punk was drafted shortly after winning the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 24, and on his first official night on Raw, shocked everyone when he cashed in and defeated Edge for the world title. He would go on to become a Triple Crown winner, picking up the tag team and intercontinental titles, as well as another Money in the Bank briefcase, before being drafted to SmackDown the following year when he would win the world title yet again. And all the while, fans across the internet screamed, "Oh my god, he's being buried!" Number 3, The Miz and Johnny Nitro to ECW, 2007. In the latter half of the 2000s, there were few tag teams in WWE who were as fun to watch as The Miz and John Morrison, and we have the draft to thank for that. The Miz and Morrison, nay Nitro, were supplemental draft picks to ECW in 2007. Morrison was vaulted to the ECW championship scene in the wake of Chris Benoit's death, and he had a lengthy feud with CM Punk over the title, while The Miz had an entourage of women and dorked around with Balls Mahoney. Everyone's path is different. Eventually they combined forces, winning the WWE Tag Team titles multiple times and hosting the popular web show, The Dirt Sheet. The two also parlayed their success into a brief feud with Triple H and Shawn Michaels before splitting up in 2009 and having prominent singles careers. Number 2, Daniel Bryan to SmackDown, 2011. Much like Morrison and Miz, Daniel Bryan's run as one of the top stars in the company began in a very inconspicuous way, as a supplemental pick after 2011's official draft. Despite his humble beginnings in the Blue brand, B-Dazzle surprised everyone by winning the Money in the Bank and cashing in on the Big Show to win the world title at the end of that year. Even though he would go on to lose the belt to Sheamus in embarrassing fashion at WrestleMania 28, he would rebound nicely once the Yes chant took the world by storm. 2 years later, and you know the rest of the story. And the number 1 best WWE draft pick of all time is Kurt Angle to SmackDown, 2002. When you think of SmackDown in the early days of the brand split, you think of great storytelling and even better wrestling, and that's thanks in large part to the fabled SmackDown 6, anchored by your Olympic hero. Angle was picked 3rd overall in the inaugural draft of 2002. As part of the renowned core of wrestlers that made SmackDown the preferred brand of wrestling purists, Angle's matches with the likes of Chris Benoit, Edge, Eddie Guerrero, Brock Lesnar, Rey Mysterio, and Shawn Michaels are the stuff of legend. And if that wasn't enough, he was also John Cena's first TV opponent. Oh yeah, and he won the WWE and World titles a handful of times too. For giving us a bevy of classic matches and being one of the reasons SmackDown was appointment television in those first few years of the brand extension, Kurt Angle to SmackDown in 2002 is the best WWE draft move of all time. Will tonight's draft provide us with some more legendary picks? We'll have to wait and see. But until then, be sure to thumbs up this video if you like it, comment below, subscribe to Wrestling with Regret, and buy the t-shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.